sharing with you today, and we're going to be talking about all things culture and community. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce your culture queens, Tess, Sarah, and Giselle. So before we jump in, I just want to take 2 minutes to really quickly touch on my story and why community is so important to me. So 7 years ago, I landed in Australia with my backpack on, and I really had no idea just how tough the journey ahead would be in terms of making friends, finding a community, and just finding girls like these. Back home, I had the best community, and I'd left it all behind to move here. So it was a really tough time in my life. I felt incredibly lonely, probably the loneliest I've ever felt, and it really challenged me every day. So 3 years ago, in this very room, the back of this very room, I made a decision that I was going to run with this opportunity, and I was going to set the world on fire. I was like, get me out of this room, I'm ready to create magic. And from that minute, I knew that community would be, it had to be the heart of everything we set out to achieve. It had to be at the core of everything we put out to the world. It was so important to me, and I knew that it would be so important to the entire team. So today, I get to sit here, 3 years on, with 3 of my downlines, my leaders, but more importantly than any of that, 3 of my very best friends. I have had the absolute honour of nurturing these women through their journeys, and it's been real. It's been tough. It's not been all the glitz and glam that you see on social media. There's been ugly tears, there's been resistance to growth, there's been really tough conversations between all of us. We've all quit multiple times, only to come back next day and be like, sorry about my tantrum, I'm back. I didn't really mean it. And above all of that, I've had some of the very best moments of my life with these women right here. Our goal for today is to be courageous, to be vulnerable, to share the highs, to share the lows, and to really make you think differently about the importance of community within your business. So let's get into it. First up, we have Miss Tess Jackson, who is our, yeah, we can do that now, Miss Tess Jackson, who is our resolute crazy capes. She is an NMD, Club 24, and she's just an all-round fun time. For those of you that know Tess, she's just a good time. So Tess, a massive thing when we looked at creating community was having an inclusive culture. So can you talk to us about how you stay connected to your authentic self and the journey that you've been on with that?
Hi everyone, can you hear me? I'm absolutely honoured to be up here today alongside these amazing ladies, and like Sophie said, 3 of my very best friends. And I want to start off by talking about authenticity and stepping into your authentic self. And would firstly love to show you guys a video of when I first joined the business. It was the day I met Sophie, and I had no clue what a DVF was. She was trying to help me make a video to send to my potentials, which, as you guys will see, failed miserably, but we managed to laugh for hours on end.
Guys may be wondering, how do you become a boss babe? It's $107.50.
Why are we having giggles?
So, you may be wondering, how do you become a boss babe? It is $107. So you guys may be wondering, how do you join Boss Babes? Well, firstly, you pay us your money.
I was trying to explain the startup fee at this point. So this video, guys, is me in a nutshell, a zany, goofy, high on life, hot mess who doesn't like to take things too seriously. And this was the way I started my business journey and also where I'm at now. But for a while there, I lost myself along the way. I feel like in this business, we all go through different periods of growth, and a massive part of growth for me has been reconnecting to the fun, which is my very, very natural state. When we lose our way, I feel as though we shift into certain toxic habits, and for me, something that pops up is self-doubt. I would see all of these other amazing leaders doing their thing, and I would think to myself, in order to be successful, maybe I need to do what they're doing. I would see Sophie being this absolute powerhouse, Sarah captivating everyone like an actual angel. Wait till you hear her speak. She's just like calming presence. And Giselle saying your name right. When we were doing a practice, I kept mispronouncing her name, and she's one of my best friends, but can't get your name right. So we'll just go with Jay, showing up like the kick-ass leader she is, and I would compare myself. And I think we've all been in that space before. Like, who's been in that space before? Like, okay, let's be honest. Or maybe I just haven't got my glasses on. Are there more hands?
There's lots of people.
Okay, like squinting here. And then maybe, some of you still in that space. You see someone who is where you want to be, and you think, if I'm just a little bit more like them, then maybe I'll get to where they are. But the thing is, we can never do someone as good as they can, and people will always see through someone who isn't showing up authentically. Another thing that crops up is actually something that people don't really expect. When we were catching up with Linda, she was like, I can't believe this doesn't sound like you. So hi, my name is Tess, and I'm very happy to say I'm a recovering perfectionist. Do we have any other perfectionists in the room? Oh, friends. Actually, no, I'm recovering. But because I'm such a hot mess, it's like not something people expect. And Sophie was on the call like, yeah, she's a perfectionist. I have to deal with that all the time. And if I'm stressed, out of balance, or not aligned with my values, I lean into my perfectionistic tendencies. I'm recovering though, which sounds very dramatic, which is probably accurate, because I've learnt that nothing is ever perfect, no matter how hard we try. We will always be chasing the impossible, and I feel as though perfectionism and self-doubt really tie in with each other. What makes you you is actually your power. Can you imagine if we were all the same? One of the reasons us four work so well together is because we all have different energies, and we all bring different things to the table that each other can't, and there is so much power in that. When we lean into our true personality and let go of perfection, the more people we attract, the more quality connections we create, the more we actually serve at a higher level, the more people will relate to us, the more fun we will have, and the more that people will go, hey, I can do this too. Your best asset is you guys, don't need to be anyone else. And to be really vulnerable with you all, this isn't something I would have shared a year ago because it's part of my journey that isn't sparkly, and at that point everything had to be. But I've let go of that, and I'm in a space of showing up as my authentic self, sharing every part of my story, and really having so much fun with my work. And while it feels amazing, it's not a space you effortlessly move into. It's come through a whole lot of growth, and growth is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's showing up even when you don't want to. It's falling down 1,000 times and getting back up again. It's calling out your own bullshit. Am I allowed to swear?
You just did.
I just did. So there we go. It's an unwavering commitment to yourself, and it is the only way we truly reach our fullest potential. Need to add that in so it's a bit deep. It's not easy, but it's so worth it.
And we would not have you any other way. Absolutely crack me up. So let's take it back to the start when we really didn't have a community here, but we were so excited about what we could create. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, so back in 2016, when I first started the business, Sophie had an awesome team building in the UK, but we wanted to create a beautiful community here in Australia. This photo's at our first ever coffee club, which for a while there we called it Cocktail Club, and I'm honestly unsure as to why we ever changed it.
Because it was at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning, and we were trying to inspire health and wellness.
I personally love the name. I was down for the cocktails.
Giselle would have come.
Yeah. Couldn't drive home though. I can vividly picture us sitting there being so sure of the community we were going to build, the lives we were going to change, and the impact we were going to have. We could clearly visualize it. It felt real in our minds. It was like it had already happened. Community is the heart and soul of our team, and the idea behind Coffee Club was to create a space where women could come to be inspired, empowered, to build relationships with other women, to be loved, cared, supported, to laugh and be themselves, and most importantly, to have a family and a place to call home. After a few weeks of testing out cafes and changing the name, although Cocktail Club sounds like a really good time, we found our groove, and each week we showed up. For months it was just us, but for months we went to work, we planned for the future, and we built our friendship. We shared it on social media and the event became ingrained in our routine. People were so attracted to what we were doing and they started showing up. And then more and more of them came along and it really started to compound, as you guys can see up there. This is at the same cafe we go to every single week, and it really took a mind of its own. Here we have some coffee clubs in Canada, there's one in Melbourne, there's Perth on there, the UK, and there are some more as well. I think it's so easy to look at a team with a huge turnout to an event and think, oh, it must have happened overnight, or it was easy for them, or they got lucky for whatever reason. But what you don't see is all the times no one showed up. And when people said they were going to come, it was really exciting, and then they cancelled at the last minute. Or when you're on to your 15th coffee club in a row and you're yet to have anyone else to join you. What you see with our coffee club event started off with 2 girls with huge dreams. And the fact we were so insanely committed to a long-term goal kept us excited and it kept us pushing when we were building it up. And the thing is, we don't really have anyone when we start. All you have to do is link in with someone. And the beautiful part about our community, and I say community as a whole, is that there are so many people we can link in with. You just have to start.
I absolutely love that. Can we please give Tess a massive round of applause? And next up, we have Sarah, who is our slice of serenity in an otherwise fairly chaotic, fair to say, leadership team. Sarah is an NMD, she's a Club 24, she's about to have her first NMD pop and she is in all-out growth mode. Sarah, give me a glimpse into life before Business Bombshells.
Thanks, Soph. Hi, everyone. I went to uni, I got the degree, and I worked really hard to land the dream job. 10 years in television production, I worked on some super epic projects, and I'm sure life on the outside would have looked perfect. But the truth was, I was more uninspired, unfulfilled, and empty, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that felt like it was missing. You generally would think that because I had found my passion, that I would be happy. Then one day I got a random friend request on Facebook, and to my surprise, this pink sparkly babe, pink-haired sparkly babe had popped me a private message asking me how I was. And I said, I'm great, thanks. And the truth was, at that time, my personal life was absolutely crumbling. My beautiful parents were divorcing, and my dad was packing up and moving to the other side of the world. And being a daddy's girl, my heart was absolutely breaking. And I'm not going to cry because I do this weird thing where I laugh cry, so I have to hold it together.
It's weird.
Being a Gemini, it's really fun. So I remember wanting to get to the airport and being stuck at work. And that day I realised I wasn't going to have a career that wasn't going to allow me to put my favourite values first, which is family and health. And that's a moment that I still remember today. And before long, Sophie and I had built this beautiful, strange online friendship. She was sending me these cute voice notes with her UK accent, and she was asking me questions nobody in my life had, checking in all the time and being really caring. And the power of connection in our business is massive. Reaching out to people that you don't know. All of us here didn't know each other prior to the business, and you just don't know how you can make someone's day, or how reaching out to them, they may need you more than you'll ever know. Before long, I was signing up to the business, and I firstly said yes because I wanted to be a part of what Soph and Tess were creating, this place where you could have a career and feel like you're at home. You could put your life first. You'd get that mentor that we so luckily get in this business, who wants to set you up to win, wants you to really succeed in your personal life and not just for the company that you're working for. And that is when I realised that's all I was missing all along in my career. I had worked in sports journalism for a while, and it was heavily male-dominated, and I was just craving that female empowerment. And Bombshells is home to me now, and I've never felt more aligned to my purpose here.
Oh, and we absolutely adore having you. So, Sarah, it wasn't always... This is hilarious. It wasn't always fast growth and hitting goals. Talk to us about the start.
I didn't get off to a fast or strong start. I never placed my personal order in the system, didn't know my virtual login, And I actually didn't know I had a virtual office when I first started, nor did I know we had vegan shakes. I take the cake for being the worst teamie. And if I can do this business, anyone can do this business. I actually rocked up to my first conference registering as a DVF, when in actual fact I was a solid virtual franchise.
Solid.
I laugh about this now, but the truth is I wasn't ready to be a business owner. I had too much going on in my personal life, and business always mimics personal life. And I was showing up for Soph because she had invested so much time into me, and I didn't want to let her down. She was my dream keeper when I would have been her worst nightmare. And I think it's really important because I gave no inkling to Soph that I was ever going to take this to NMD. She would have had no idea, especially that I didn't know how to log into my office. But 6 months later, I decided to do a restart. I finally made it to DVF cumulatively, really proud. And 18 months later, I hit National Marketing Director, and I was on a mission to go all in, to take this right out, and I absolutely worked my butt off. I was busy working in my full-time job, working 60, 80, 100 hours, travelling around Australia. It wasn't easy, looking after the team, bringing on new frontline, bringing in new customers, customer care, doing it all whilst stressed to the absolute max in my corporate job. And I absolutely could have let that get in my way of building my business. I could have let the fear of what other people think of me get in the way. I was a massive closet network marketer when I first started. If anyone asked me what I was doing, I would just palm it off to someone behind me. Oh, I don't know that thing, she's selling something, I'm not sure. I couldn't even own up to it. It was shocking. And I think starting out in your business in this industry, when you realize that it makes you face demons that you had no idea that you needed to face in order to become a better human. When I was able to grow through the journey and take on every obstacle, I've become a better friend, daughter, and business partner. And, there comes a time in your life when you need to choose to be brave. You need to choose to be courageous. I just joined two words together. And and you need to face those fears. It's not easy in this industry, but it is absolutely worth it. And when I look at choosing my hard, yes, it's so hard missing magical moments with my family if I was to stay working 60 to 100 hours in professional career. But yeah, choosing your hard is the question that you should ask yourself, I guess.
I absolutely love that. I actually have a photo, Tess, can you put the photo up, of Sarah at that first conference when she thought she was a DVF. And it was when you used to go up and pick your own badges, and we went to the front and she was like, so for my PBQ, am I POBQ? And I was like, and then she picked the DVF badge, and I just didn't have the heart to tell her she wasn't a DVF. But the bit of the story that Sarah really breezes over is the fact that 6 months on, she went from DVF, day one, to NMD in 18 months. That's wild. So Sarah, looking back, can you tell us in a minute or less, what would you tell your DVF self?
I would tell her to wake the hell up and not waste any more time flapping around. Don't let other people's opinions of you get in the way of actually achieving your goals and reaching your fullest potential. I tell her that everything is going to be absolutely fine because you have everything you need right in front of you. This girl right here said my life would change if I trusted the process, and it absolutely has, and I'm so grateful that I said yes. So failing isn't what you should be afraid of. Not getting started or not giving this your all is what you should be. And I just think it's about taking the step and going all in and trusting. Don't make this your plan B, go all in.
Absolutely love that. Sarah, ladies and gentlemen. And next up, we have our resident supermom, Giselle. I'm actually going to read this bit because this is in Jay's words. So Jay's on the most beautiful mission to inspire other women to get up when they've been knocked down, to take every loss as a lesson, to stop comparing themselves and to love the journey they're on, good or bad. Giselle was Australia's 2019 Rookie of the Year. She's a super mom to 2 young bubs, and we are absolutely blessed to have her here with us today. So Jay, your journey was a little bit unique in the beginning in that you bit my hand off to join. Can you talk us through where your head was at and why this made sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was working the corporate life 9 to 5 when I suddenly fell pregnant with my little boy, and my life absolutely changed. I fell head over heels in love, and I knew from that day on that I was put on this earth to be a mother. What I didn't expect with maternity leave, that for me it came with a lot of isolation and a lot of loneliness, and not to mention the anxiety of thinking about returning to work and putting my son in daycare. So when Bodhi was 6 months old, it really hit home, and I was like, what on earth am I going to do? And Sophie actually popped up in my newsfeed one day, so we started chatting, and the more we started talking about the business, the more it just made sense to me. I realised that this was going to be my vehicle to be able to do what I want, to stay at home with my son, not miss a milestone, and to make an income. So I said yes, and that's when I found the bombshells.
I absolutely love that. And I think because of the nature of the way you came into the business, like you knew why you were here, you knew where you were going, you absolutely flew through the marketing plan. And there was a time there where you were well on track for NMD by conference, which was your goal. So then you hit a few curveballs, and I know it's been an incredibly emotional 6 months for you. Can you talk us through that whilst I try not to cry?
Yes, so like Sophie said, my journey was really, really fast at the start. My business was growing quicker than what I could. And I hit all my promotions fast track all the way up to QNMD. Don't get me wrong, I worked really, really hard, but everything just kind of fell into place for me. We were absolutely flying to NMD as a team, and then something happened, something that I had never encountered before, and that was a hurdle. I was an absolute mess because I had never had to deal with something so difficult in my business before. So I made it my absolute mission to make sure as a team that we hit NMD. NMD meant so much more to me than a title. It was symbolising how many customers we were helping to become healthy and happy. It was symbolising the lives we were changing, the women that could live out their dreams. And for me, it was also the first stepping stone for my family to create that dream life that we had always envisioned. So I worked my absolute butt off for 6 months. I had written on my mirror, I am NMD, I will make myself proud. Every morning I woke up, I picked out my conference song and I would play it, and I looked in the mirror and I envisioned how it was going to feel to walk on stage as an NMD and share my story with everyone. Every morning I woke up, the first thing I did was work on my business until I closed my eyes at night and went to sleep. For 6 months straight, I worked my absolute butt off, and we missed it. And we didn't miss it by a little, we missed it by a lot. And it was hard. It was really, really hard for me. I felt like the biggest failure, I was questioning myself as a business owner, a leader, a mother, a friend. I was starting to believe that I was a failure. And what a lot of you might not know is that right from the start, it's always been the 4 of us. We've had this incredible friendship from day one. Through this crazy roller coaster of a journey, we've always been there for each other. And when I hit my absolute low in the business, this babe right here hit her absolute high, NMD Club 24, which was absolutely incredible. She got up on stage and shared her story at conference, and I sat in the audience and I felt broken. I was so happy for her, but it was like seeing your best friend marry the guy you love. You were just so, you're just so happy for her, but you are absolutely breaking on the inside. And I couldn't help but feel like that could have been me. That could have been me up on stage. And when you get knocked down and there's other people around you winning, it's like a kick in the guts. So I went from this vibrant, excited woman to uninspired. I woke up every morning and I didn't even want to think or talk about business because it was so painful.
Oh God, that story gets me every single time. So you sit here today and you're not in that space. Everything's changed. You've got this fire in you that's like, I couldn't put it out even if I wanted to. What's changed?
So I picked myself up and I just asked some really hard-hitting questions. If not this, what on earth are you going to do? Are you going to return to 9 to 5 and put your son in daycare and not see him for a whole week? Absolutely not. And are you going to have that conversation with your children when they're older and say, we could have absolutely had it all, but mummy got knocked down and she didn't get back up? I want to be the best role model for my children, and when they get knocked down, I want them to get up. And I want them to never, ever give up on something that they love. And I truly, truly do love this business. Not for what it's done for my customers, my team, and my family, but for the friendships I've made. The friendships that this lonely mum was longing for so long. We are just crazy. Business aside, numbers aside, we're just feral. We have banter, crying, laughing, ugly photos.
Although never of Sarah.
Never of Sarah, never. And just a whole lot of wildness, and that's just something I truly, truly cherish, and I believe that what kept me in the business and kept me pushing through.
Thank you so much. Can we give Giselle a massive round of applause, please? So I think what we've heard here today is that the girls had 3 completely different experiences, 3 completely different business journeys, and yet the theme that runs through all of them is community. I think what I've learned in this business is that when times get tough, people stay for relationships. People don't stay for a product. They don't stay for a marketing plan. They don't stay because we've got sparkling new bonuses on the table. They stay because of friendships. They stay because they feel like they belong. So it's so important that you make your team feel like they belong and that you make friendship and community the heart of everything you set out to create. Because times get tough, we miss promotions. If Giselle wasn't such a massive part of this community and didn't feel so connected to us, who's to say she wouldn't have quit when she missed NMD? If we didn't have that friendship, if she didn't absolutely adore being part of this group, who's to say she'd still be here? I absolutely love that Jay touched on the mantra of, if not this, then what? Me and Sarah had a slumber party last night and we were having some pillow talk around, seriously though, what else are we going to do? And we were just coming up with all these ideas and I was like, I could do like an internship in interior design and like just all of these crazy ideas of like, seriously, Soph, I know it can be difficult sometimes, but if you're not going to do this, then what the hell are you going to go and do? Like, how are you ever going to find this level of job satisfaction with your best friends, like sending memes to each other all day and ugly selfies and just having so much fun? What else is going to give you this? So on those days where you're face down and it gets a bit tough, just ask yourself the question, if not this, then what? Because it will get you into action. I think it's really important that I highlight that the girls won't touch on this side of their story. They're so humble, but there has been a lot of hustle. Like a really great example of that story is May of this year. We were going for 75 Club as a team. Sarah was going for NMD, Tess was ticking off some structure for retreat, and it was all out chaos is the best way I can describe it. And the only reason we got through that was because we had each other. Like, we all moved into Tess's house, and like literally, Giselle was the only one who didn't happen to be going for a promo. So she was like, right, you need a 20-minute break. You need to take a bath. Have you eaten? Who's had their capsules? She was being mom. She held it together, and no matter where we're at, we just hold each other together. So I think it's so important that I touch on that and that you guys get that message that these girls, I might be their upline, but they're my backbone. Like, I couldn't do this without them. They're my best friends. They keep me going when it all gets tough. And I think if we understand that this business opportunity that we have in our hands is an absolute gift. There are so many women who come up to me in the team and say, Soph, you've saved my life. And that makes me so emotional because there are so many people out there who are lost mamas, lacking community, who've, gone through that stage in their life where they've changed friendships and they're lonely, who've moved to a new country and they don't have anyone. And I'm so incredibly passionate about going out in the world and sharing this gift that we have. And if you wake up every day and you view this business as a gift, you won't be afraid to go and share it. Go and save people. Go and share this from your heart. Go and work your absolute arse off. Find people you love to link arms with and go make it happen. Thank you so, so much. Well done, girls.